Dear young adventurers, we appreciate your unwavering support and enthusiasm for our storytelling adventures, and we're thrilled to take you on another magical journey. Join us on your Story Master channel on YouTube, where we bring enchanting tales to life, and visit yourstorymaster.com to delve even deeper into the world of stories. Let's celebrate the art of storytelling together. Now, let's venture into the mystical town of York, where history, beauty, and magic converge in the 14th century. Picture winding cobblestone streets, towering cathedrals, and the gentle flow of the River Ouse, a place where wonders come alive. In our exciting new story, Tom and Edward's heroic adventure, let me, your story master, introduce you to two young shepherds, Tom and Edward, right from the heart of York. They don't just look after their flock of sheep. They share an incredible friendship that's as strong as a castle wall. Get ready for an amazing adventure with these two friends. They are like peas in a pod, sharing hobbies, marbles, and delicious walnut cake made by Tom's Granny Pat. But this isn't just a tale. It's a magical adventure that begins with the plight of Elara, a fairy who's fallen victim to a wicked witch's curse, transforming her into a baby lamb. Once a radiant and powerful being, Elara's wings have lost their shimmering brilliance. She seeks the help of true friends, who can break her curse and return to her former glory. True friends are the ones who happily share your happy moments, truly care about you, and never leave you when things get tough. They cheer for your achievements with big smiles and are always there when you need them, being loyal instead of being jealous. One day, as Tom and Edward were leading their flock to graze near Weldrakewood Forest, their dog Rufus began barking excitedly in a particular direction, his tail wagging enthusiastically. To their surprise, they discovered a little baby lamb entangled in thorny bushes. Both young shepherds followed Rufus to where he was staring into the bushes. Tom carefully freed the baby lamb and started taking care of it. The baby lamb was a charming and fluffy little creature. It had a soft, pristine white coat that enveloped its body like a warm blanket. Its eyes were bright and innocent, shining with curiosity. This tiny lamb had small, perky ears and a dainty, twitching pink nose. The white baby lamb looked so innocent and had sweetness like a living painting of purity. "Oh, so cute!" Edward exclaimed as he gestured towards the little lamb's collar. Upon taking a closer look, they discovered something fascinating. There was a name engraved on the collar, and it said Elara. Below it, there were also strange writings, like a tricky puzzle that they both did not understand. It was getting darker, so boys decided to return to the farm, and they took the baby lamb Elara with them. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into years, yet Elara's situation remained unchanged. One day, as Tom and Edward were coming back from the forest with their flock of sheep, they noticed a tired monk on their way to farm. The two boys went up to the monk and kindly asked if he needed help. Edward, being generous, shared his leftover bread, some fruits, and milk with the hungry and thirsty monk. The monk thanked the boys for their kindness. After saying goodbye to the monk, Tom and Edward bid farewell to the monk and went on to their way back to their farm. On the way, they noticed that their dear baby lamb was missing from the herd of sheep. They got worried and started looking for it. To their surprise, they found the lamb near a tall sycamore tree, not far from where the old monk had been sitting and meditating. They couldn't understand why the baby lamb had stayed there. Curious and confused, the boys went back to the monk and asked if he knew anything about it. The monk, now paying full attention, asked how he could help. The boys explained that their baby lamb hadn't moved and seemed fascinated by the monk's presence. With curiosity, The monk approached the baby lamb, picked it up, and held it gently. He looked at the collar and saw the name Elara engraved on it. Suddenly, he realized that this was no ordinary baby lamb. Seeing the monk, filled Elara the baby lamb with hope. The monk, realizing about the situation, began to narrate a tale about two extraordinary beings who were once the closest of friends and resided in the enchanting Weldrake forest. These magical beings were known as Elara and Malina. Elara, with her boundless generosity, kindness, and a voice that could make the forest come alive with her singing, was beloved by all the creatures that called the forest home. However, a day arrived when a small misunderstanding crept between Elara and Malina. Malina, driven by envy and jealousy over how the forest's creatures adored Elara, allowed bitterness to consume her heart. Fueled by her jealousy, Malina cast a wicked spell upon Elara, transforming her into a gentle lamb and placing a curse upon her. And this curse could only be broken by the intervention of true friends. The monk went on to share that he had learned this tale during one of his pilgrimages as he passed through the forest. The forest's creatures had revealed the story to him when he inquired about Elara's absence, as her soothing songs had always been a source of comfort to travelers and helped them unwind on their journeys. He also mentioned a time when Elara had come to his aid when he was trapped in a pit within the forest. In gratitude for her kindness, he had vowed to repay her someday. Edward then turned the monk's focus to the puzzling riddle etched onto the collar, hoping the monk could help them understand it. The monk, being familiar with the language of the forest's creatures, examined the riddle and read it aloud to the boys, and breaking it down step by step to make it clear to them. In the heart of the forest, where secrets lie, a creature of day, I'm not the night sky, I'm born from the sun, yet I dance with the rain, invisible to the eye, but I hold so much gain. I'm fleeting and fragile, like the morning's first light, yet powerful and mighty, dispelling the night. What am I? Dear travelers, can you unveil? To find Elara's freedom, solve this enigmatic tale. The monk said that he saw the qualities of true friendship in Tom and Edward and believed they could break the curse of Elara. The very next morning, Tom, Edward, Cedric the horse, and Rufus the loyal dog embarked on their adventure. The monk had warned them that they would encounter challenges along the way. These challenges were the traps cunningly set by Malina to gauge the strength of true friendship. To conquer these tricky traps, all they had to do was cling to their friendship and its core values, such as trust, which meant having faith in one another, loyalty, which meant standing by each other's side through thick and thin, kindness, which meant treating everyone they met with compassion, and perseverance, which meant never giving up, no matter how tough the journey became. With these values guiding them like a North Star in the night sky, Tom and Edward knew they could face any obstacle that came their way, and they set forth with determination in their hearts. He then guided them on a journey northward, where they would encounter challenges but could find the key to Elara's collar, the key to her freedom. They encountered their first challenge as they were passing through the whispering vines. These deceptive vines whispered enticing promises of success but were revealed as traps meant to deceive. Remembering the monk's words, Tom and Edward wisely rallied on their friendship, acknowledging that it held the key to their success. Deeper into the forest, they reached a spooky cave where echoes played tricks on them. Every sound they made bounced off the cave walls, creating a confusing mix of noise. Their laughter and words twisted and turned, making it hard to figure out what was what. The cave seemed alive, enjoying the confusion it caused. Their voices got soaked up by the walls, then twisted and sent back in a jumble of sounds. It felt like the air was full of ghostly whispers, almost like it was giggling at them. Tom and Edward stood there, trying to work out which voice was theirs and which was just an echo. The cave made their words sound spooky, like ghosts talking. It was so puzzling that they couldn't even tell their own voices apart from the echoes. In this weird, noisy place, it felt like they'd entered a world where sounds didn't follow the usual rules, but they knew they had to trust their feelings to find their way out of this echoing puzzle. By staying silent and focusing on the riddle's guidance, they trusted their instincts and, with Rufus's help, emerged from the cavern unscathed. As they carried on their adventure, they eventually reached a place where the path split into 4 directions. It was a bit like a puzzle. They had to decide which path to take, but it wasn't easy at all. Tom and Edward looked at each other, both feeling uncertain. They scratched their heads, wondering which way to go. It was like being lost in a maze of choices, and they couldn't make up their minds. But, you see, that's when their strong friendship really shone. They knew that good friends help each other out when things get tough. So, they started talking about it. Tom said, "I think we should go this way," and pointed to one path. Edward listened carefully and replied, "I see what you mean, but maybe this other path is better." They shared their thoughts and ideas, and that made the decision-making much easier. Their resourcefulness also kicked in. They remembered the riddle and how it mentioned something about sunlight. So, they looked around and noticed a path where sunlight was shining through the trees. It was like a clue from the riddle, so they decided to follow that sunny path. Working together and using their heads, they managed to overcome the confusing crossroads and continued their journey with even more determination. Malina had been observing all these events through her crystal ball, witnessing 2 friends overcoming obstacles with each other's assistance and using each other's skills. She began to acknowledge her mistake. She realized that what she had done to her friend Elara was wrong. Her heart started to change, and she began to miss her friend. So, she appeared before the boys. Malina expressed her gratitude to them for helping her understand the true values of friendship, such as trust, love, sharing, and caring, rather than jealousy. Malina told them to break her magical staff to discover the key to Elara's collar. Malina waved her hand in the air, and suddenly, they all found themselves back near the sycamore tree where the monk was sitting with Elara. With shaky hands, the boys put the key in the little lock on Elara's collar. They felt their hearts beating fast, full of excitement. When they turned the key, they heard a soft, musical sound, and Elara started to shine with a beautiful light. It was like a magical moment, something so amazing that it left them breathless. Suddenly, right before their eyes, Elara began to change. She wasn't a lamb anymore. Instead, her whole body seemed to shimmer and transform, as if nature itself was celebrating her return. Slowly and gracefully, she opened her wings, and each feather sparkled like a sky full of stars. It was more incredible than anything they had ever imagined, a magical moment that filled the whole forest with wonder. Now, Elara wasn't a lamb but a magnificent fairy. She floated in the air, and her shining wings created patterns of light on the ground. The boys couldn't believe their eyes. They were stunned by the magical sight. It was a moment of pure magic, showing how friendship and kindness could beat jealousy. Elara saw Malina standing there, right next to the boys, and she could see in Malina's eyes that she was truly sorry for all the trouble she had caused. Elara, with her warm and kind heart, felt a deep sense of compassion for Malina. She knew that making mistakes in friendship was something that could happen to anyone, even to the best of friends. With a gentle and understanding smile, Elara looked at Malina and said, "I can see how sorry you are, and I believe that people can change and learn from their mistakes. In friendship, it's not just about having fun and being together. It's also about admitting when we've done something wrong and saying sorry." Elara's words were filled with care and love, and she continued, "When a friend realizes their mistake and sincerely seeks forgiveness, it's important to open our hearts and forgive them. It's a way of showing that we care about each other and that our friendship is strong enough to withstand even the toughest challenges." Malina's eyes filled with gratitude as she listened to Elara's words. She had learned a valuable lesson about the importance of admitting mistakes and seeking forgiveness in friendship. With warmth in her heart, Elara extended her hand to Malina, and they embraced, sealing their renewed friendship with forgiveness and understanding. In that moment, the forest felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted, and the bond between Elara and Malina grew stronger than ever. It was a beautiful example of how friends could overcome difficulties, admit their mistakes, say sorry, and find forgiveness, all while caring deeply for each other. Rufus, the faithful dog, grabbed everyone's attention as he held a basket of Granny Pat's delicious walnut cake treats. They all enjoyed the cake together, savoring the sweet taste of friendship and forgiveness. No riddle, no trap, and no curse can withstand the strength of true friendship. Before we bid you farewell, we encourage you to choose a charity to support when visiting our website, www.yourstorymaster.com. Remember, you don't need to pay anything. Just listening to the story to the end can make a positive impact. We have a special initiative for the top 5 chosen charities. Stay tuned, subscribe, share, follow our channel You Story Master on YouTube, and like us on different platforms, and be sure to return for our next story premiere on YouTube. Until then, may your dreams be filled with enchantment, and may your friendships be as dependable as the bond between Tom and Edward.